too smooth, that mud talking to have your ass in a wreck. Who's signing your check? Pussy better do what he says. We shutting down shows. Ain't gotta put no price in your head. Man, I'm coming for your tongue for all that shit that you said.
Gonna make the profiles boom, 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 boom. What it is, I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is, and you can tell by that thumbnail right there. Blackbird dedicated his life to the game. So if you're Norteno, remember his name. Carlos Joseph Ramirez, a soldier, much love amongst many homies who now rest above. Yes, indeed, we're talking about the one, the only, the legendary figure from the Bay Area. This is his story. This is his profile. Carlos Joseph Ramirez, also known as Blackbird, from them dirty waters out there in them Antioch streets, right? Now, I know a lot of people, especially from Northern California, in a Norteño fashion, have always listened to Woody. You know, Woody being, hey, Sasuke, I still bump Woody. Woody's on the tube right there, Sasuke. We got Woody albums y todo, oh my. You know what I mean? A legend. A legend. He will definitely get his own profile. Someone that I met in real life, someone that I talked to, someone that I wiggled with. Now, at the same time, I will say this. The song Blackbird, a homage, a dedication to a real one. You know, this Vato Woody had love for his camaradas, for his homeboys, for his boys, his brothers, his homies he grew up in the hood with. And we all have had love for our homeboys that we grew up in the hood with, you know. So I was scared. There's just some, just a little bit more than others, you know, that you can never forget. You reminisce, man, when they're gone, or when you're gone, I'm sure they reminisce. That brotherly love, that familia, that canalismo love will always be there. And so I felt that if for no other reason, I should put this out about Blackbird, because I know a lot of people have listened to that song, that dedication that they did for him, respectfully so and righteously so. And a lot of people don't know the true history of Blackbird or who he is. You know, a lot of us from down south have probably never heard this song, and now we're going to listen to it. It's a jam, bro. It's a jam, and it's real life. And what it is you can hear the expression, the heartfelt expression that these Vatos are speaking on when it comes to their homeboy from their neighborhood. Now, Carlos Joseph Ramirez was a savage, homie. A beast. Represented West 20th Street Norteño gang to the fullest out there in Antioch. Okay? He gets his respect because of a lot of things he was doing out there in the streets in the ways of a warrior. You know, he was down for the cause. He was down for his cultura. He was down for his people. Now, at the same time, you say, how can you be down for your cultura if you're killing other Mexicanos and Chicanos? At the same time, we've all been there and done that. If you've been part of a gang, you've been part of a group and or organization, then you know that that's the way you wiggle. You wiggle to the fullest. You know what you signed up for, Sasuke. You put in that work, homie, and that's how you establish your name. That's your representation of yourself. That shows the true measure of the man that you're becoming and your character. If you're a gang member, homie, you're a gang member. You handle it in a gang-related fashion. And this Vato, Carlos Ramirez, definitely handled that. And that's why he is of legendary status in the city of Antioch and throughout the Bay Area and through the Norteñoism cultura, right? The culture of the Northerners. He's always going to be well known, if not for the song Blackbird, but for what he did while he was handling his business. So trip out on this. Carlos Joseph Ramirez from Antioch. You know, his story has always been a mystery to a lot of people outside the city of Antioch, but it ain't no mystery to those that live that city, that breed them streets, that were bred right there in the city of Antioch. He's known. You know, he was known to hang around with this homeboy, show love, show respect, a lot of clecha. He gamed a lot of the younger homies up. He put them up to par on game, and a lot of them respected him, not only because of the person he was, but because he out there, how dangerous and how he was out there handling his business on the streets. Now, from the Vatos that I've met, Blackbird was definitely a force to be reckoned with. He wasn't someone that took his hood or his body or his cause lightly. Meaning he was dedicated, homie. He was all in. He was ready for whatever. So we can get it on, homie, in any type of weather. You know what's fucking on? And being out there in the Bay Area, you got to understand Norteños move differently. Okay, I've said that before. From Balleros to Vatos in the Bay, it's a different water. Okay, over there in Antioch, it's also a different water. It's a dirty water. Vatos are out there really getting it in. And you got to understand, in the late 80s, early 90s, Vatos were really on that gangbanging hype. There was really a north-south issue happening, especially in the city of Antioch. And this Vato Blackbird was fully dedicated and all in. Sasuke, I'm all in, homie. You lost. Is that right? I mean, you won. Exactly, right? So what happens and what he's well known for was being on the run. This Vato was accused of multiple homicides, multiple crimes in the city of Antioch. to which he went on the run and was shaking and baking and evading law enforcement for several years. You know, usually when you're on the run, you get a good, nice 1 year, 2 year run out of the situation. This vato was going on 3-4 years, pero maintaining right there in his city, coming in and out. Of course, he had children, so he would come visit his children. He was a very devoted and loving father. His children loved him. His baby's mother loved him. His familia loved him. You know, of course, you got to play two sides of the coin, homie. When you're out there in the streets, you got to put your game face on you. You got to be gritty and grimy. And Blackbird was all that, homie. He was well known to be a smacker, a hitter in the hood, a hitter in the city. And allegedly, man, he was doing big things and doing things that he was not supposed to, according to law enforcement. But at the same time, if you talk to his homeboys from his hood, he was a very loving, devoted father, just a righteous individual, one of the canales that you would love to be around, homie, that always had a helping hand for any homeboys, always would bring the younger homeboys up, never fucking shit on anyone's character, was just a good, righteous vato. And that's why he gets so much love. But anyway, so he went on the run for several years for multiple homicides. One of the most notable homicides, and I'm going to speak on this other individual later in a profile, was one supposedly that he had done with young Snoop from Antioch. Okay, for those of you that don't know that story, the story goes that, of course, Blackbird's brother was hit and was put in a wheelchair, to which Blackbird was feeling some type of way. So him allegedly and Snoop actually drove around for several hours till they found a quinceañera, that Sureños were there at this quinceañera. And then, of course, the place got shot up. Several people were hit and clipped. And Snoop sat down and took the whole beef on this. Blackbird was accused and they were wanting him in questioning. They figured he was there. I'm talking about the authorities. But that never came to pass because a tragic event unfolded and took place. A very mysterious event took place that we're going to speak on right now. And I'm going to break it all the way on down because I was scared. That's what we do. The only way to profile this individual correctly and put respect on his name is to tell the truth as I know it. Okay. So, of course, Snoop sat down quite recently. He went up to board to try to get out, to which the board members told him, what have you learned? What have you changed in your life? He said, I ain't changed shit. I ain't got to change shit. I'm innocent of this crime. He has always maintained his innocence. And hey, Pobrecito's still sitting down. I hope that he gets his due day. One day, his due diligence and his fucking, his time to shine out on the guys, I'm sure will happen one day. One never knows, does one. But he's sitting down like a true soldado man handling his business. Okay, so back to Blackbird. Blackbird, like I said, was very beloved in the hood and became of legendary status and a figure that's well known throughout the Norteno plight based on the song What He Did, you know, which was a tribute because his homeboy passed away. Okay, he passed away at the tender age of 22 years old on July 13th, 1998. Now, I remember 1998, so I was wiggling. 1998, I was actually starting my first term in prison. And I was doing what I had to do to maintain. I was fully active. I was a functioning Norteño. I considered myself the Blackbird of my neighborhood. You know what I mean? Straight up, I was down to do whatever I had to do at that point in time. Having done a lot of time in the California Youth Authority and getting out with that mentality and a long-ass Mongolian, I figured I was that one. But was I truly that one? I don't know. You know, I was willing to go the extra mile, but at the same time, vatos like Blackbird up in the Bay Area were already going that extra mile. They were already about that business. So I guess I was good. The wind was blowing and I wasn't shit, right, compared to this vato. But like I said, he was wanted for multiple homicide investigations, to which none ever got pinned directly on his plate. But sabes que the vato was on the run. Now, I actually did tell the story, man, how one time I did go to a party and this vato was wiggling. Okay, this vato was already on the run. He was wiggling, not necessarily for a murder, I can say, but he was for some type of case. You know, I seen him in passing briefly. It was kind of like, what's up, bro? And that was that. You know, I was doing my thing with the homeboys from the 20s that I was there kicking it with. And that was it. That was pretty much the extent of the conversation. Later on, I would find out that was that vato and it was like, oh shit, you know what I mean? I met Blackbird, dedicated his life to the... So I did run into him at one point in time, but like I said, it was in brief passing. So what happened was, being on the run, like I said, this vato would always wiggle back to his city, would always wiggle back to going and kicking it with his homeboys. And of course, the placas were always on his boot heels. They were on his tail. They were trying to catch him. They felt that if for no other reason, he was one of the main reasons Antioch streets were so hot. because this vato was out smaculating every southerner that he's seen. Now, that was not the case. The streets are going to be hot because the streets are hot, period. But of course, they had this vendetta against this individual because he tended to wiggle on them. Every time that they would hit a house party or hit a house where they knew he was there, or they were hearing that he was there, he was always escaping. He was like a bird, homie, a huelga bird. He was ready to fly up out the window quick and get the fuck on. So he kept evading them. Now, we all know in life, if you evade people that want to get you, it gets them madder and madder, and they start to take things personal. So I've been in spots where vatos are like, fuck, I want to get that fool, right? I don't know why, but they took it personal. You know, they see a picture of me going like this, but they want to scratch my face. So I'm taking this shit personal, puto. That's what it was with Blackbird. Law enforcement seemed to be taking it just a little bit personal. You know, what he did or didn't do on them streets, man, like I said, the streets will only know. You know, of course, the streets talk, but in this situation, a lot of his homeboys weren't saying shit, homie. To this day, they're down, and they're down for their homeboy regardless of what he did or didn't do, okay? Now, according to a lot of articles that I've read and people that I've talked to from Antioch and just gente, and it's a well-known story, what happened was on July 12th, 1998, what he did was he actually wiggled back to his baby's mother's house. Now, he was in what you would call a domestic issue with his baby's mother, meaning that they weren't seeing eye to eye. They weren't on the same page. But anyone who had seen them previous to all this had said that they were a loving couple, a couple that they thought would be together forever. They had two young daughters, one the age of 2, I believe, and one the age of 4, if I'm correct. And this vato loved his children like no other. Now, I have daughters. And I love my daughters above and beyond anything in this world, irregardless of what people may think or people might say. Sasuke, my daughters are my number one things in life, right? In life. But this vato loved his children. And everyone said he was a doting, devoted father. And even his baby mother said that she felt that if for no reason he would do anything to harm his children, he loved his children. Okay, now this is where the game takes a twist. On July 12th, 1998, he actually goes to his baby mother's pad, breaks in. Of course, he's on the run. People are looking for him. Placas are on his tail. It's coming down to crunch time. He knows that they're going to get him eventually. So he's, of course, probably trying to go make amends with his baby's mom, get on the same page, get on the same note so everything's fine. And, of course, go see his children. I would have did the same thing. I need to kiss my daughters before I go get locked up forever, it was looking like, right? Because, like I said, he had multiple homicides on his jacket. They were looking for him. They were trying to fucking lock him down forever. So he breaks in, and, of course, his baby's mother's not there. Several of her family members are. He tells them, hey, it's going to go down, man. Placas are going to come. I want to spend some time with my kids before they take me in. I'm going to keep it on lockdowns right here on the standoff with the Placas. So that way I could spend some time with my daughter. Of course, the family leaves. They don't feel a threat. They know him quite extensively. They know his character. They know the nature of Blackbird. They know, yes, out on the streets, he was a solid ass, righteous ass Norteno, willing to do what he had to do, and the smacking was real. But at the same time, these were his children. This vato posed no threat whatsoever to his kids. He was not going to do anything to them. He wasn't even distraught. He was actually calm. Basically, he had given up the ghost. He knew it was time to go get incarcerated. He knew they were on him. But at the same time, man, let the man spend a little time with his babies, right? That's just righteous. You know, he might not ever get to touch them again. That got to be understandable, especially the way he carried himself and his dedication to the North and the cause. This vato would probably get locked up, incarcerated, do a few pegadas, and be on death row forever. Oh my, right? That was his stilo. That was his nature. But at the same time, man, he wasn't no woman beater or no kid killer, right? That's what he wasn't, right? Quite contrary to what any fucking article says. Anyways, trip. So the vato's spending the time with his children. Of course, the Placas get the all-point bulletins, and they're on him. They surround the apartment building he's at. He's in an upstairs, well-known apartment building in the city of Antioch. And what happens is a 42-hour standoff. Okay, there's hostage negotiators. They're considering his daughters hostages, even though they weren't hostages, but that's the way law enforcement looked at it. And so he's in this standoff with the Placas, and they're going back and forth. Now, according to the hostage negotiator, he never raised his voice. He never acted violent. He was pretty calm. They asked him what he was doing. He was changing his daughter's diapers. He made them some hot dogs to eat. He was spending a little time, put cartoons on for him. Of course, his daughters loved him, so they didn't feel threatened. This was their father. They didn't know who he was on the phone with. They didn't know actually what was going on. They didn't know that it was a big moment in their lives that would impact their lives forever for what little time they had left. You know, respects to this vato and his children. But the hostage negotiator kept trying to get him to give up his children and come out. Of course, in which he said, Charlie, I ain't ready. When I'm ready, I'll come out. But until then, ¿sabes qué? I'm going to eat me a little sopita, kick back with my hijas, watch Pinky and the Brain, and chill. These Placas were pretty mad. They were pretty upset with the fact that this vato was holding them hostage is how they felt. So what a lot of people have said, there's been a lot of conflicting stories. Some people have said that they heard gunshots. The hostage negotiator said that there was a countdown, that he at 10:42, I believe, p.m., that they did actually get in contact with him, to which he started doing a countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then they heard several shots fired. About this time, the Blackas, the SWAT team that were surrounding the house, did raid the house, to which a concussion grenade was fired and several more shots rang out. Okay? Now, that's according to some people. A lot of people said that they actually did not hear any shots fired, that they actually heard a concussion grenade go off first, to which they heard several shots being fired. One never knows, does one? The streets will talk eventually, you know? But these are what the streets are saying. And there's a lot of vatos from his barrio, Blackbird's barrio, Carlos's barrio, a lot of vatos on the streets, and a lot of just citizens that say, Chale, this man did not kill his children and himself. Now, it was ruled a murder, homicide, suicide. Okay? What they're saying is that he, the pressure was too much to bear, and that this individual basically took out his children and himself, and that they found them all with several gunshot wounds on the ground around each other. Okay, now, it's feasible. It's feasible in life. People do that. People are distraught. They're like, fuck it, man. I ain't never going to see my kids again. I'm gone. They're gone. But I don't think this vato did this shit. You know, if you ask me, Sasuke, nah. I don't call it. I call bullshit. I call cagada. I call mierda. I call chorro, right? I call bullshit. The reason I call bullshit is this man was calm. There's too many conflicting stories. What I believe happened, I'm not going to say what I believe happened, Sasuke. You can read between the lines, because if I sit there and tell you what I think happened, Sasuke, they might shut me down. But I will say this. I do honestly believe that there's more to meets the eye here. His homeboys have always maintained his innocence in this matter. From the outside looking in, and from doing my proper due diligence and investigation into this, kind of looking into the story at several angles, being righteous and being unbiased in this. I will say, man, I don't believe that this vato killed his children. I believe that, it was a personal matter. I believe he was taking out the game due to, the wiggling that he was doing was real. And I believe that his daughters, as unfortunate as it sounds, man, were casualties of that horrific event, and it happens like that. It happens like that in life, when children are in the house and things are going down, man, it's never a good look. So do I believe he should have just let his children go? Yes, of course. You want to keep your kids out of danger and out of harm's way, but at the same time, man, I understand his plight of trying to spend as much time as he could with them before he was incarcerated. I don't think this vato thought it was going to go down like that. There have been some conflicting stories that he was strapped at the time. Some people are saying he wasn't. I can't call it like an alcoholic. Like I said, I wasn't there at that time, so I don't know babosos, but I do know this, right? The vato unfortunately has passed away, and so did his kids. Okay, now this is a case that happened a long time ago. But it's just something I wanted to profile, because a lot of people ask me, who is Blackbird? I hear this song. Blackbird dedicated his life to the game. So if you're Norteno, remember his name. And I said, at that time, I was a Norteno. I was down for the cause, and I will always remember his name. Not only because I have homeboys from Antioch and I know vatos, and I got respect for that vato and respect for that city, period, plain and simple, first and foremost, but also because I could understand his plight, having children and knowing, the desecration they have done on his name. Now I could be totally offbeat. I could be wrong. It could have been what it was, what they said. But at the same time, I don't feel in my heart that that's what it was. I feel it was something totally different. I feel that it manifested into a propaganda, slandering thing, and many articles were put out, man, about this guy. Now, I think the funny thing that conflicts the story the most is that this vato had 3 gunshot wounds to his head. How can he hit himself 3 times? But that's neither here nor there. You know what I mean? So I can't call like an alcoholic. The Blackas said they never fired 1 shot, where several people said they heard them. At the end of the day, one never knows, does one? I'm not here to judge the officers. I'm not here to say they're fucking being biased one way or the other, or to say their story ain't true. I'm just saying, from my opinion, my perspective on it, I believe this vato was a righteous soldado, homie, that did what he did. Yes, he was out there smacking people, supposedly, allegedly, and got caught up and found himself in a twist. And then this is what happened. His poor daughters were casualties of war, man. Respects on their names. I'm not trying to fucking shit on his name or his kid's name whatsoever, man. Respects to the whole fucking Wadu out there and to the North cause, that represent and respect this vato. At the end of the day, man, his name is well known, and he's a well-known figure out there in the Bay Area, and forever will be known because he's what do you call it? Fucking memorialized in this song by one Ryan Woody Wood, who is now subsequently passed on himself in life. We will be doing an extensive profile on him later on down the line. But I will say, man, my respects go to Carlos Joseph Ramirez, Blackbird, man. For those of you that don't know his story, it's right here. You can Google him. That's him right there on the thumbnail. He was a real one, irregardless of what people say. People are always going to try to shit on your name when you're gone, man, but it's what you do while you're here on earth is what counts. I was scared. That vato was a Norteno, plain and simple, period, and everyone is to admonish and respect his name. If you believe the quite contrary, that he was actually a fucking key killer and all that, well, Sasuke, that's your own opinion. You're entitled to that, but I don't. Anyways, I hope that you move fast with a purpose. I hope that you get everything that you want coming to you. At the end of the day, remember, go out there and take care of your children. Don't put them in sticky situations, because shit like this happens and then stories get fucking conflicted. You know, you don't never want that. You want them to grow up and be prosperous, man, and be productive members of society and do more than you did while you were here. So I was scared, because I know I was out there wiggling. I don't want my kids to do it like that. Anyways, hit that like, the thumbs up if you're really feeling this. If not, you can hit that thumbs down. Heavy as the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to do what I do for the gente. All I can say is Blackbird represented his life in that gang. And if you're Norteno, remember his name. That's a remix, the gun style. Gunner Too Smooth. Bang, bang. You know what it is.